How we got here. 50 years of conditioning. Men to be passive. The resistance you're experiencing didn't come out of nowhere. The contempt, the constant testing, the way your authority gets negotiated instead of respected, the feeling that you're expected to defer, apologize, and explain yourself in your own home. That didn't happen by accident. It was installed, not in a single conversation, not by one bad relationship, but through decades of cultural messaging that taught men, slowly, subtly, relentlessly, to see leadership as either dangerous or ridiculous. You didn't wake up one day and decide to be passive, but at some point, you accepted it. And that distinction matters, because what was taught can be unlearned, but only if you stop pretending you're still just a victim of it. Phase 1. The sitcom era, 1970s to 2000s. When male authority became a joke. It started as comedy. Everybody loves Raymond. Raymond Barone, competent, employed, married, providing. And yet, he can't make a decision without approval. He's always wrong, always apologizing. His wife is framed as smarter, sharper, morally superior. Any attempt at authority is punished with ridicule, and the audience laughs. That's the part most men miss. The laugh track wasn't background noise. It was instruction. This wasn't isolated. Doug in King of Queens, Homer in The Simpsons, Phil in Modern Family. Al Bundy mocked, diminished, tolerated at best. Different shows, same message, husband equals child, wife equals supervisor. Male leadership is either incompetent or something that needs correction. And when wives belittled, demeaned, or even physically struck their husbands? Comedy. Reverse the genders and it's abuse. Here it's entertainment. That matters more than you think, because you don't just learn from what's rewarded, you learn from what's laughed at. Phase 2. The prestige TV era, 2000s to 2010s. When men became the threat. Sitcoms made men foolish. Prestige television made them dangerous. Law and Order, SVU, ran for decades with a simple moral structure. Man equals predator. Woman equals victim. Justice equals restraining male power. Then came The Handmaid's Tale. Big Little Lies. Endless narratives where male authority is synonymous with abuse. The message escalated. Men didn't just need correction anymore. They needed containment. And men watching absorbed this quietly. You learned that. Assertiveness looks like aggression. Standards look like control. Leadership looks like oppression. So you adapted. Not because you were weak, but because you didn't want to be seen as dangerous. Phase 3. Music plus social media. 2010s to present. The message goes viral. Then the algorithm took over. Music normalized contempt. Social media amplified it. Men are disposable. Men are wallets. Men are obstacles. And when men objected, other men corrected them. Men apologized for being men. Men competed to be the safe one. Men accepted collective guilt for individual actions. And women noticed. They noticed hesitation. They noticed fear. They noticed men treating leadership like something that requires permission. And something shifted. Not consciously, instinctively. Because passivity in a man doesn't create peace. It creates contempt. Phase 4. The resulting man. Competent at work. Passive at home. This is the man you became. At work, you decide. You lead. You're respected. At home, you defer. You negotiate. You explain yourself. You apologize for preferences you don't apologize for anywhere else in your life. Here's where responsibility enters the room. At some point, conditioning stops being an explanation and becomes an excuse. Plenty of men saw the same messaging and still chose to lead. You didn't. And the cost is showing up in your relationships. Phase 5. The countermodel. Conscious leadership. The answer isn't backlash. It isn't dominance. It isn't resentment. It's conscious leadership. Leadership means making decisions when someone has to. Carrying responsibility whether you feel like it or not. Creating structure so chaos doesn't fill the vacuum. If you don't do this, one of two things happens. She does, and resents you for it. No one does, and the relationship rots. Leadership and partnership are not the same thing. Confusing them destroys both. What this means for you: you were conditioned, but you're not excused. You don't get credit for recognizing the programming if you keep living inside it. So here's the line you cross in this book. You stop negotiating your authority. You stop apologizing for standards. You stop outsourcing leadership and then resenting the consequences. Some women will resist this. Those aren't your women. The right woman won't argue with clarity. She'll exhale. The bottom line: you can't build a family on passivity. You can't lead while apologizing for leading. You can't create peace by surrendering authority and calling it virtue. Someone leads. If it's not you, it will be someone else, or no one at all. And either way, you'll pay for it. The conditioning was real, but continuing to live by it is a choice. This book exists to end that choice.